Road Skull's Straight Shooter Air Cleaner. Installation instructions for Harley motorcycles. In every Straight Shooter Air Cleaner box, you will receive one Straight Shooter Air Cleaner, a wiring harness, mounting hardware, zip ties, and Loctite. Please note, every piece of mounting hardware on this installation process will need Loctite added to each of the bolts, and the bolts to be torqued to their proper torque specs. To begin installation of your new Straight Shooter Air Cleaner, remove your old air cleaner and any associated hardware mounted to the throttle body. Please note this also includes the removal of the induction module bracket on certain model bikes. You will now disassemble the Straight Shooter Air Cleaner and lay it out accordingly for the next installation steps. Take mounting bracket 1 with its hardware and install this plate to the throttle body. Begin installing the 3 intake bolts by hand, screwing them in just enough to hold the mounting bracket in place, giving it some wiggle room to install the outer breather bolts. Now take the 2 breather bolts, the spacers, and install them. The spacer will go behind the mounting bracket. Feed the bolt through the mounting bracket and spacer. Hand tightened. Repeat this step for the other side. Once all the mounting hardware is installed on the bike, begin snugging each bolt down in preparation to be torqued down. Start with the 3 intake bolts, followed by the 2 breather bolts. Now it's time to torque the mounting hardware down with a torque wrench. The 3 intake bolts should be torqued down between 7 and 9 foot-pounds of torque. The 2 breather bolts will be torqued down between 15 and 18 foot-pounds of torque. Now it's time to install the fan and the fan standoff plate. Begin by feeding the fan wires through the rubber grommet on the standoff plate. Install the terminal pins one at a time, pulling them through the grommet. Lubricating the wire will make for easier installation, making sure not to pinch the wires against the plate and the fan. Now take the standoff plate with the fan attached and insert the fan wires through the rubber grommet on the mounting bracket, making sure not to pinch the wires between the 2 plates. Install the terminal pins one at a time, pulling them through the grommet. Lubricating the wire will make for easier installation. Hand tighten the fan support bolts to the standoff plate. Now it's time to torque the fan support bolts with a torque wrench. Torque each bolt between 10 and 15 inch-pounds of torque. Do not over-torque these bolts. Now take the 4 air cleaner standoff bolts and hand tighten them to the standoff plate. Torque each of the 4 standoff bolts between 7 and 9 foot-pounds of torque. Now it's time to install the DNA air filter and the Road Skull's air filter cover. Put the air filter on the motorcycle with the front fins in a horizontal position. Now put the air filter cover on over the air filter and hand tighten the bolts. Torque the 4 air filter cover screws down between 7 and 9 foot-pounds of torque to each bolt. Now it's time to wire the Straight Shooter Air Cleaner to power on your motorcycle. Remove any accessories you may have on your motorcycle to gain access to your accessory circuit. Depending on the year and model of your motorcycle, it may be located in a different spot than what is shown in this video. Next, remove the 2 gas tank bolts and set aside. Using a 2-inch spacer, lift the gas tank and set the spacer under the tank, giving you room to route the Road Skull's wiring harness. Now it's time to install the power wire to the air cleaner. You will need the power wire plastic connector, and the green retaining clip. To begin, locate the power wire coming from the back side of the air cleaner. Next, take the plastic connector and install the red and black wires into the back of the connector. Use the wiring harness to align the connector to the pins. Be sure to align red to red and black to black pins. Take a needle nose pliers and pull the remaining exposed wires through the plastic connector. Next, take the green retaining clip and put it into the back of the plastic connector. Secure it by pushing it into the connector with your pliers until you hear a click. Now take the power wires and connect them together until you hear a click. Tuck the power wire under the frame and run it out under the tank, making sure it will not get pinched by the gas tank. Now it's time to connect the road skulls wiring harness to your accessory circuit on your motorcycle. Remove any side covers you may have exposed in your accessory circuit. Now remove the accessory circuit from the motorcycle and connect it to the road skulls wiring harness. Now take the power wire from the air cleaner and plug it into the road skulls wiring harness. Now take the remaining accessory plug on the wiring harness and hook it back into your accessory circuit on your motorcycle. Now take the loose harness and zip tie it neatly together and secure it back to the motorcycle. It's now time to check the power on your straight shooter air cleaner. By turning on your motorcycle key to the on position, you will now begin to hear the fan starting to spin. Once the fan has passed the power check, it's time to reassemble your motorcycle. You are now ready to go ride and enjoy your Road Skulls straight shooter air cleaner.